Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Before starting, subscribe and like the videos, it really helps a lot. The content from this video are taken from the web novel and manga series of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. Now please enjoy the video.
Volume 9 Chapter 3 Princess, Knight, and Magician Part 1. Sylphy's life suddenly changed. She went from living life as an ordinary village girl, to living life as a royal guard. The first order of business was a complete overhaul of her wardrobe. Received from the guardian magician who died, were a cloak, boots and gloves. Gale boots, which allowed the wearer to run several times faster than normal. Cloak of perpetual warmth, that regulated the body temperature, preventing sudden illness. Overwhelming gloves, having all impact damage received near the palm. All of these articles were magic items. A special undergarment was newly ordered for Sylphy. Bustier of the steel-threaded silkworm. It is made with fibers that resist most blades. However, it cannot withstand an attack by someone using skills of the sword god style. Rather, it's more for preventing wounds from the level of a thrown dagger. In addition, a magic tool that changes color and orients in the direction of a certain person when an impending crisis to them approaches. Sunglasses of the rescuer. While allowing the face to remain hidden, it allows perception of the crisis state of the princess instantaneously. This is a full set of the rarest of equipments. If an adventurer saw it, they might become stricken with jealousy and try to take it for themselves. There was also the opinion of giving Sylphy a certain wand, but Sylphy refused it. The wand she was using presently was the beginner's wand she had received from Rudeus. It was her sole property, and so she desperately did not want to part with it. It was after all the wand that felled the terminate boar in one shot. No one was going to force the issue. Even her eating habits had changed drastically. In Buina village, the staple food was something akin to a crusty brown bread and vegetable soup. And the main dish would be the rabbit or bird her father had fetched. These were the kinds of meals that Sylphy knew. But even though Sylphy was from a poor family in Buina village, because it was part of the bountiful Asura kingdom, there were no cases of hunger or starvation to worry about. But now the meals had changed to that of the grand feasts of the imperial court of Asura kingdom. A thick, rich and hearty soup served with tender white bread. Meat and fish covered in abundant spices and slow-cooked for a long time. Salad made with fresh raw vegetables, and then followed up with a dessert. It was all far too luxurious for Sylphy. Although even if it was such a luxurious dish, her job as a guard made it required for her to eat until the very end. She had to retire after seeing exactly how much those of the upper-level nobility could eat. The similar yet lower-ranking guard was Luke. However, the difference in the quality of meals here compared to those of Buina village was like the difference between heaven and earth. For Sylphy, living every day in the palace was like living in a dream. Her only dissatisfaction was the lack of freedom and personal time. Still, she kept strengthening her body, and managed to find the time to keep practicing magic. Of course, she was concerned with what happened to Rudeus and Buina village. Although information was being collected, the feudal Lord James Boreas Greyret had fled in an effort to save his own neck, so the search hardly advanced at all. The minister Darius, however, made a move by helping a person named Alphonse, who at one point was a butler of Sora's, to establish a refugee camp. The outlook there, however, was grim. Sylphy insisted that she would go to take a look, even traveling by her own feet if necessary, but that was rejected. She was told she just had to wait, while properly doing her job as a guard. Sylphy continued to perform the guard work, as she was told. At first, it was a string of continual failures, especially when making public appearances. No matter how much etiquette she absorbed, not everything was perfectly understood. She failed her table manners, she failed in greeting others in the hallways, and she failed in the various ceremonies she was required to attend. Her failures became the targets of scorn and antagonism towards the second princess. Even if they are said to be the genius boy, apparently that genius doesn't extend into using manners properly. Even if it wasn't the full truth, the malice could be heard. Sylphy recalled the time she had been bullied. It almost made her legs lock up in fear. However, she didn't cower away. Because despite everything being said, none of the scorn was directed at Sylphy herself. No, it was being directed towards Rudeus. For Sylphy, that wasn't something she could possibly endure. If it was Rudeus, if Rudeus was in this situation, he would probably endure it though. If Rudeus could do it, it was imperative that she was also able to do it if she ever wanted to stand equal to him. And while thinking that, a passionate feeling gushed out from inside Sylphy's chest. Afterwards, she took care to ensure that similar mistakes never occurred again, and had moved about with meticulous care. For the things she had not already learned, immediately after learning it, she practiced it over and over. The first thing was changing the way she referred to herself as, to, Boku. Then she did her best imitation of Rudeus, and came to behave in the ways of a man. Luke had reacted to such an action favorably though. He is a ladies' man, as admitted pridefully by himself and others. Sylphy had observed how good he was at making women fall for him, analyze their preferences, being his motto. Because she had observed him properly, she had found that he did have some good parts to him. Particularly, it's his special ability, and it is entirely limited to conversing with women. Luke had seen the desperation that plagued Sylphy. Watching the earnestness of effort, something that was rarely, if ever, seen in noble women. To keep her sights on nothing but one point, and to eagerly overtake the point that she continually aimed for. For Luke, watching Sylphy make such an effort day after day, naturally had come around to supporting her. Secretly supplementing the parts he knew that she was lacking, and stealthily teaching her the parts that she did not know at all, he had become a shadow of support for her. A shadow only, because around here, there was a reason he was popular, and Sylphy had noticed it. However, Sylphy did not fall in love with Luke. In her heart there was no crevice filled with anything other than thoughts of Rudeus. And Luke also seemed to have no interest in the chopping board, characteristics particular to the long-eared tribe, elves. Instead, a strange friendship began to bud between these two people. Luke himself had few friends. He was born into the House of Notice, and was quickly entered into the second princess faction. Being close in age, and partly being forced into it, he was appointed as her guardian knight, and had spent every day training for the duties that accompanied it. There was nobody who he could call his equal, just a person to look up at or down upon. This was even the case with former guardian magician Derek. When after considering the age difference and experiences, it was not easy at all to say they were even close to being equal. Only Sylphy was an understanding existence that could finally be called equal to Luke. Perhaps to him, she could have been the only one worthy enough to be called his friend.
Part 2. While getting along well with Luke behind the scenes, Sylphy and Ariel also continued to deepen their bonds of friendship. However, the opening act never ends smoothly. At that time in her life, Ariel was an extreme sadist. She was a girl who felt a particular excitement tormenting others. The likely cause of this was something that lingered behind after all the times she had nearly been assassinated. At first, Ariel did small things, like ordering the maid of one of her guards to perform cleaning duties while stark naked, while others included Ariel herself severely beating an errand boy with a horse crop. Perhaps you could call it a love of bullying the weak. Of course, while her proclivities were concealed as much as possible, they were already established as a well-known fact in the imperial court. At first, Ariel only targeted those who were weak, but gradually over time she lost interest in weak people, and instead came to be attracted to those she considered to be strong people. By accomplishing the task of making a strong person prostrate and submit to her authority and position, it came to be that doing such things stimulated the princess. Luke was no good as a target. He never tried to show Ariel any of his strong parts, omitting of course, the origin of Luke's feelings towards Ariel. Also, there was Sylphy's predecessor, the guardian magician Derek. That one never showed strength towards their master, Ariel. Nothing but obedience was shown. Mental strength and a rebellious spirit. Men who didn't try and show these things were not at all of Ariel's taste. Most likely they were able to accomplish their job as Ariel's guard because none of them had anything that matched her taste. And then what about Sylphy? She felled the Terminate boar with one shot using chantless magic, and while in a strange place, surrounded with strange company, she remained determined to do her best to learn strange manners? Tasty. Even if she was skilled in magic, even if she was of a younger age, even if she had white hair, even if she had long ears, even if she was diligent, and even if it seemed like there was a man she desired, all of it was to Ariel's taste. At first, Ariel endured the nagging desire. It was because Sylphy saved her. Ariel owed Sylphy her life. She still remembered the fear the Terminate boar instilled when it appeared before her. If Derek hadn't pushed her away, Ariel's head most likely would have exploded and her brain splattered everywhere. Boar is different from a goblin. It doesn't lay its eyes on a woman and consider violating her. It only rips the body apart as it feeds on it. The Sylphy who eats delicious meals every day. The Sylphy who lives and works hard every day. Towards that Sylphy, Ariel speaks words of gratitude to the first time before preparing to eat such a tasty meal. Such a wicked happiness could be seen in the eyes of the princess.
That's it guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want more and don't forget to like the videos.